Sunset Live. Got that live sunset. It's beautiful out here. It's a beautiful evening. Hold on. So I could do that shit from here. Here. That shit better not make me do that either. Somebody somewhere. Alexander tapping in my new phone bill that I hit. No more hotspot. Whatever. Hey, I'm gonna call you when I'm done. I've been wondering. And I knew you were saying that before. You was having problems with your shit. Oh shit, that ain't what I meant to do. So you can see, I got my chat GPT right here. I got my thesis and everything ready. I actually okay, so build course curriculum. Hey bro, this is what I'm doing all day. I'm building a course curriculum for a class. You know what I mean? And this is what's comical about it, bro. It's like, it's legit, and it's legit being done on fucking YouTube and Facebook and Chat GPT. You know what I mean? And like, it's crazy because I can take this right here and like, it doesn't matter what professor there is in the world. You know what I mean? I can sit them down and I can ream them in psychology. Watch, we're gonna we're gonna do a little digging on Chat GPT. Let's see. So I got okay, so I just, so you can see, like, can you read that? Algorithmic recurrence, AI and media technology. Like, this is so you can see. I'm about to give you the exact set of research questions that would define PCR as a new subfield of psychology: grounded, rigorous, theoretical, original, and testable. These are structured like an academic playbook for dissertation committees, research labs, grant applications, conference presentations, tenure track scholarship. Here we go. This is my publication. You know, I've already got, you can go search Cage Writing by Dr. David Shapiro and see my writings. I've already been published. I got poems published. I got essays published, like in different publications while I was locked up. So let's go back to that, because what I'm about to read, I'm about to give you the exact set of research questions that would define PCR, psychology, cultural recurrence, as a new subfield of psychology: grounded, rigorous, theoretical, original, and testable. These are structured like an academic playbook for dissertation committees, research labs, grant applications, conference presentations, tenure track scholarships. Here we go. Now listen, I'm gonna prove myself today. You know, I get a lot of kids in here that they come on here and they troll. Everybody sees how they get triggered and what they get triggered by. I'm gonna prove to you that, listen, that no psychologist that you're ever gonna see, no doctor ever can fuck with me in the field of psychology. So listen, all these little gay ass games, they are what I say they are because I've been there. I know the psychology that motivates every last one of those dudes that are in those gangs because I've been them. You can't tell me that I don't understand the fear and loathing of any and every gang member in any and every gang when I understand poverty and I understand the conditions of poverty, and I understand the root causes, and I understand the conditions that it creates and the pathology and psychology of it all. Yeah, see, that's a totally different conversation. You see, when it comes to the YouTube streets and the YouTube yarda, they're not equipped for that conversation. That's where they fall off. That's where we'll see. I should have just posted up over here. That one would do. Because there wasn't nobody at that bench that I see, but I'm gonna come post up over here. You see, people, that's the thing, like, if I sat here and I just roasted or whatever, you know what I mean? If I name these fools, then you'll see what happens, right? But if you get into something that's gonna challenge people to think, right? Like if I present, like right now, when I come sit on this bench, right now, it's classes in session now. We're gonna do some reading. Let's ask some real serious academic questions now. You know, people want to get into all the little, you know what I mean? Like, we'll question it right now. So, here we go. PCR as an academic field, core research questions. These questions establish PCR as a science of how cultural cycles, trauma, media, and behavior repeat across generations, and how they can be interrupted. 1. Foundational questions, the core of PCR theory. 1. How do cultural narratives rooted in trauma become internalized as psychological identity across multiple generations? Let me ask that a question again. Let's see who can answer this. Let's get your Googles out. Let's get your Chat GPTs out. I'm on Chat GPT, so I encourage you to get Chat GPT out. Foundational questions, the core of PCR theory. How do cultural narratives rooted in trauma become internalized as psychological identity across multiple generations? 2. What mechanisms convert repeated cultural messages, music, media, community stories, into behavioral norms within high adversity populations? 3. Can cultural recurrence be mathematically or neurologically as a predictable pattern of thought, emotion, and action? How does chronic exposure to trauma-centered media affect the development of self-concept, agency, and future orientation in youth? 5. What differentiates cultural expressions that reinforce cycles of trauma from those that transform or break them? So let's go back, because those are questions for people with a doctorate degree. Those are questions for doctors. That's to sit across from these people and let them question me about a dissertation for an honorary doctorate degree. So you can call me Dr. Daniel. You can call me. We working on Dr. Daniel right now, while the rest are what? So I'm gonna give you some. Listen, I'm gonna give you some breakdown. This is a thesis right here. Let me go into the thesis and I'll read it for you. This right here calls out Sugar Hill Records, Sylvia Robinson, the whole mainstream of hip hop. We take you from the we listen. We explain how and why they did it. Who did what to who, how. Watch. Look. I got the laws too. You understand the statistics and stuff that I got right here? Oh, I guess, look, every one of those I can break down. Like that's all broken down. That's just ready for chapters. I'm gonna read the thesis. That's just I gotta go back a bit. I have several of them. So we're gonna get this is about hip hop. This is about the influence of rap, hip hop rap. This gives you a historical background going but tracing the origins of it. Listen, never mind the racist bigotry that all these bastards talk about. Listen, all them fools in New York are racist, bigoted bastards, dog. Listen to this shit. This is history. This is context. This is facts, dude. This is a clinical study in psychology. As someone who's been influenced by it, listen. That's the thesis. Title: Mainstream Hip Hop as Cultural Weapon System. Corporate Gatekeeping, State Power, and Psychological Control in the United States. Author: Daniel E. Saiz. Abstract: This thesis examines the evolution of mainstream hip hop rap in the United States as part of a broader apparatus of cultural control that links corporate media, state power, and psychological influence. Rather than treating hip hop as a purely organic artistic movement or, conversely, as a top down conspiracy, the analyst argues that hip hop became a strategic site where state interests, corporate profit motives, and existing infrastructures of psychological operations converge. Trip out on this shit. The chapter traces this process through four interlocking phases. One, the early corporate capture of rap's public image via figures such as Sylvia Robinson and Sugar Hill Records. Two, the selective amplification of violent, nihilistic, and hyper-consumeristic narratives in the 1980s, 1990s. Three, the use of these narratives to legitimize punitive criminal justice policies and mass surveillance. Four, and the contemporary algorithmic environment in which streaming platforms and social media systems automatically prioritize emotional, extreme, and destabilizing content. Drawing on historical research on U.S. cultural policy, Cold War propaganda, law enforcement surveillance of black musicians, and empirical studies of rap media effects and recommendation algorithms, the thesis argues that mainstream hip hop has been gradually weaponized, not by the culture's originators, but by those who control its bottleneck of visibility. The conclusion proposes that this process operates as a form of cultural recurrence in which cycles of trauma, centralization, and self-destruction are repeatedly reproduced through sound and image in ways that stabilize existing power structures. Every single rapper, you name them, Tupac, all of them, they've been puppets to those white puppet masters. And we've all been played into the same schemes and the same scams by the same black faces. It's the minstrel show. I'm not talking about a particular race of people because they're brown. Eminem leads in numbers. It's white. But it's a promotion. It's a promotion of self-destruction, is it not? What is rap hip? What is rap? What is it? It's an expression of what? It's an expression of the cultures in which the people who rap about it, right? They're speaking about the cultures. So what are the cultures in which these people come from? Right? Drug addicts, right? So if we're to judge an entire community, an entire demographic based on the music that they promote, what does that say about those communities? right? It says to Bill Clinton and people like the Democrats who started the industrial prison complex and started privatizing prisons, the Democratic Party, the DNC, those corrupt fucks. And why? What did they use? Rap music, crack cocaine. What did they do? They made a disproportionate sense. 100 to 1? 100 to 1 crack cocaine to cocaine. Really? Motherfuckers gonna get more time. Motherfuckers gonna get more time. Hold on. Motherfuckers gonna get more time for crack cocaine, one crack rock, than for a kilo of cocaine. They can produce how many crack rocks? And you know why? Because of who was getting busted with powder cocaine as opposed to who was getting busted with crack cocaine. And we know this. This is all history. But when we look at culture and we look at the music, because music is part of any culture, what does the music say about our culture? It's a beautiful sunset. Look at this. Like, it goes to show, bro, like it really, it speaks volumes, because consider the last 2-3 days of my lives, and consider all of the trolling, and consider in the last live how I wrapped it all up, and consider today these 2 live streams how it's been. There's people questioning about a thesis, right? What did I say? I would come out here with it. I got receipts. But people ain't trying to learn. They want, listen, this is the thing. They want that comadre shit. They want, listen, these dudes, these grown men, these gang members, these people, whatever they are, they prove that they're straight comadres because they're more interested in that clickbait title where they can go and talk crazy about somebody because they know controversy sells. But when it comes to educating somebody, enlightening somebody, where are we at with it? Introduction. Hip hop, power, and the politics of signal. Hip hop emerged in the 1970s as a localized cultural response to abandonment, disinvestment, redlining, police violence, school neglect, and economic disposition in black and brown urban communities. It was at its core a survival language and an alternative news network. MCs, DJs, dancers, and visual artists reported the lived reality of marginalized neighborhoods in real time, without mediation by editors, politicians, or corporate executives. At the same time, the United States entered the late 20th century with a long history of treating culture as a strategic field of conflict. During the Cold War, U.S. agencies covertly funded journals, art exhibitions, and publishing programs to influence elite opinion and promote free world values. Intelligence fronts such as the Congress for Cultural Freedom channel money to sympathetic writers, artists, and institutions, demonstrating that culture could function as a subtle but powerful weapon of geopolitical persuasion. This background makes it implausible to imagine that a rapidly growing, youth-dominated, black-led cultural form like hip-hop could remain entirely outside the attention of the same state and corporate actors who had already spent decades perfecting cultural influence. The question is not whether hip-hop was noticed, but how it was integrated into existing systems of gatekeeping, surveillance, and psychological management. This thesis does not claim a monolithic plot or a single command center directing every development in rap music. Instead, it documents a convergence. Corporate media structures, profit-driven market logics, law enforcement practices, and pre-existing state strategies for cultural control gradually reordered hip-hop's public face. Over time, this convergence shifted mainstream hip-hop from a predominantly community-serving narrative instrumented to a double-edged weapon, one that still carries truth and resistance, but also reliably reduces images and behaviors that legitimizes surveillance, policing, incarceration, and structural neglect. 2. Cultural control before hip-hop, from propaganda to pop culture. The weaponization of mainstream hip-hop can only be understood against a longer genealogy in which the U.S. state and its allies learned to use culture as a tool of soft power. During the Cold War, U.S. officials saw arts and media as critical arenas in the ideological struggle with the Soviet Union. The CIA and other agencies covertly funded magazines, exhibitions, orchestras, and publishing projects to shape perceptions of American modernity and freedom, often channeling support through ostensibly independent foundations and cultural organizations. This policy had several implications that matter for hip-hop. 1. It normalized the idea of art as a battlefield. Cultural production was not simply tolerated or observed, it was actively steered, subsidized, and curated in line with strategic interests. 2. It established durable relationships between state agencies, foundations, publishers, and media executives. These networks did not dissolve when the Cold War ended. They evolved, shifted focus, and moved across genres. 3. It demonstrated that cultural influence is often most effective when indirect. Rather than overt censorship, the state could encourage some voices, aesthetics, and narratives while marginalizing others, shaping the market from behind the scenes. Simultaneously, the FBI's long record of monitoring and harassing black musicians, jazz artists, soul singers, and later rappers underscored that certain forms of black cultural expression were treated as security threats. Historical reporting has documented surveillance and investigations into figures ranging from Billie Holiday and Nina Simone to later rappers such as Tupac Shakur and members of Wu-Tang Clan. This established a pattern. When black music gained influence, it attracted not only commercial interest, but also law enforcement scrutiny. By the time hip-hop arrived, the U.S. state and its corporate partners had both the incentive and the infrastructure to treat culture as a field of strategic management and a neutral realm of creativity. Third part. The corporate capture of hip-hop's public debut, Sylvia Robinson and Sugar Hill. Hip-hop's earliest years in the Bronx were largely undocumented by the formal music industry. Parties thrown by DJs like Kool Herc and African Bambaataa, MC battles, and neighborhood crews created a rich, localized scene whose visibility depended on live performance and word of mouth. When rap first crossed into national markets, however, it did so through existing industry channels that were structurally external to this scene. Central to that transition was Sylvia Robinson, a singer, songwriter, and producer who co-founded Sugar Hill Records in Inglewood, New Jersey. Robinson had a successful prior career in R&B and a deep understanding of studio production, radio promotion, and record distribution. In 1979, she produced Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang, widely credited as the first commercially successful rap single and the record that introduced rap music to a broad global audience. Critically, the Sugar Hill Gang was not a pre-existing Bronx crew with an established reputation in the hip-hop scene. It's critical that they were not established. Contemporary accounts and later commentary describe the group as an essentially assembled for the project, drawing on local talent but bypassing the MCs and DJs who had built the culture's foundations. They bypassed the actual founders. This move illustrated a pattern that would recur throughout hip-hop's mainstream history. Rather than simply amplify organic voices, the industry selected and configured artists to fit commercial and managerial priorities. The first widely heard presentation of rap was, in this scene, already an industrial plant. A group curated by executives to capitalize on a street phenomenon without ceding control to its original architects. Robinson's role is therefore structurally significant. Sugar Hill Records pioneered several patterns that would become standard. Top-down selection of talent rather than bottom-up recognition by peers, which is where it begins. Tight executive control over content and branding. Use of existing radio and distribution networks to define what rap sounded like to national audiences. Sugar Hill's output was artistically important and historically formative. At the same time, the manner of its emergence institutionalized gatekeeping. It institutionalized gatekeeping. It demonstrated that rap could be monetized without empowering the scene's original communities to control their own representation. The structural separation between cultural originators and industrial mediators became a key site through which broader political and economic logic. Let's stop on that right there because that's a lot. Okay, let's try to imagine it. I'm 50 years old. I'm born in 1975. If there's anybody that's older watching right now or that will watch this, and especially if you're from New York, especially if you're from the boogie down Bronx, if you're old enough to remember those days before Sugar Hill Gang, before Sylvia Robinson, if you remember what it was like in the very beginning, when it was word of mouth. We know what it's like in high school and junior high and shit. Hey, homie, it's a party over here. It's a party over here. They got the power hooked up, and we're gonna be partying over here. This DJ. We all listen. That shit, that vibe comes from New York. I know that from New York. That's New York. New York gave us a lot of some shit, bro. So it would be nothing more than this, some word of mouth shit. And then, we're judging on the bench. We're judging on the park right here who's battling whatever. Because those of us like myself that I used to break dance, I was part of the culture. So I know what it is to just go in this right there and everybody come and start watching, throwing change and money and stuff. So when you go from that adolescence, that innocence of hip hop rap, when it's the graffiti, you know what I mean? Like Beat Street's the best representation of it. So when you go into that vibe and that sense of it, right? Before these big head fools come in, these gatekeepers, because she was already part of the industry. You know what I mean? Okay. Two ways of looking at it. And that's giving credit where it's due. She provided an opportunity where it didn't exist, correct, right? That's what people are going to say. And that's what happened. But the moral of the story is that she was a snake, right? And she knew from the industry who she selected. She selected them. They did not compose their own music. The Sugar Hill Gang did not compose their own music. They didn't produce, they didn't write, they didn't do none of it. She did. Gatekeepers, who comes next? Russell Simmons? Where's Russell Simmons at now? Where's Russell Simmons at now? What is he running from? What's up with African Bambaataa? What happened? Huh? Why is it that these gatekeepers like Diddy and Jay-Z, why is it those ones like that, like Birdman? Why is it that those dudes have those type of stuff attached to them, dog? Like why? You see, they want us to abuse drugs. They want us to abuse drugs. They want us to be addicted to drugs. They want us to chase after shiny things like them. The stuff that they sell, that's what they want us to chase after. Don't you understand? They don't paint their faces up no more black and act like us no more. They don't do that. They don't have to. They can just give us crumbs to do the song and dance for them. That's exactly what's happening. Think about it. Look at how Afeni Shakur had to fight for Tupac's publishing rights with that old booty bandit. Everybody knows Suge Knight, he like boys. And he like them underage too. Everybody knows that. It ain't no secret. Look at the level of debauchery that's involved in the stories after it comes out. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody wanted to know, and now look. That right there, what I read is not. That's not even a quarter of what's there with that thesis. Like, listen, each one of those questions, I'm going to go and have all of those, like where I was saying all of those for those professor questions, each of those questions is going to be answered in a thesis. Those questions are going to be answered. See, it's important for people to understand this stuff because, like, okay, I've been explaining this. I got a lot of years of economic studies too. And I was explaining earlier on a live how, I was talking about Melanie Starr, her and her husband. They do music and stuff. And they got a really nice, like, when you put the song on, it does the same thing to everybody that react, like everybody that's done a reaction, like to do music reactions, stuff to videos. Everybody has that same reaction. But it's like I was saying, timing of release is out of time. It's out of place. Right now, this is handcuffed. This is cuddle weather. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have a different vibe when you're coming into this. So like, you can undercut. Listen, just knowing the market strategies of these industry of the corporate interest in the industry, then you can just emulate that. All you got to do, all you got to do is predate any of their drops. And it don't even matter, dude. Listen, you want to compete with whoever's the best. If you feel that market-wise, right? Let's say Kendrick Lamar. Let's say J. Cole. Let's say Wale. Let's say whoever you want to say as like that's the one. You can rip any of their stuff. You can rip any of their stuff and undercut any of them. Before any one of them has an opportunity to drop any of them, you can already start ripping theirs and launching it before. Listen, there are so many different strategic attacks that any artist can do at the market, bro, on any and every media platform. Like, you can just, listen, you can bot them on their accounts, dude, and blow them up. What did Ice Cube say, jacking for beats? That. Listen, take any artist, his best collection, You select his best collection and rip them. Rip every last one of them. Remix and rip every last one of them. It don't matter. Listen, it don't matter if you don't make a dime off of it. You're gonna send them all into a tailspin. You see, it's formulaic. J. Cole pointed that out in a song. He was talking about how formulaic it is. It is. It's formulaic. What's his name? Don Cheadle. The actor Don Cheadle spoke about how formulaic the movie industry it is because they have a formula. Listen, Don Cheadle explained that they have a formula that it's like a grid. It's a grid, it's analytics, and they can plug in a movie, a script, an actor, actress, and they can know exactly who are the best to pair. And that's who's gonna get it. That's how it works. It's not nothing to do with talent, none of that. It's about image. It's about the image that sells. And what are the images that they're selling to us right now? If you go on, you listen to rap music, what are they talking about? What's the vibe? What are they giving off? They're all drunk, they're all high, right? Am I wrong? Right or wrong? They're all drunk, they're all high. They all lie. You know what I mean? Like, they're all tricks. You know what I mean? It's all a show. It's all stage. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, enough's enough. But what are they promoting to the children? Where were we at? Four, IV. Selective amplification, violence, misogyny, and hyperconsumption. In the 1980s and early 1990s, hip-hop diversified. Political groups, Public Enemy, X-Clan, socially conscious MCs, KRS-One, Queen Latifah, party-centered acts, and more confrontational gangster artists all coexisted. Yet as major labels consolidated control over distribution and radio playlists, certain themes emerged as disproportionately promoted in mainstream channels. This selective amplification cannot be reduced to a simple plot. It reflects the intersection of market incentives, editorial biases, and wider racialized narratives. However, the effect was clear. Violent, misogynistic, and hyper-consumeristic content became increasingly central to the public image of rap, while more complex and overtly political work remained marginal or niche, despite critical acclaim. Research on media portrayals of hip-hop supports this perception. A 2020 study of hip-hop and entertainment journalism found that more than half of examined articles contained references to violence, suggesting that violence had become a dominant frame through which the genre was presented to readers. Parallel work on rap audiences indicates that rap music and videos have become strongly associated with images of aggression and antisocial behavior in both public and scholarly discourse. At the same time, experimental and longitudinal studies have raised concerns about the behavioral impact of exposure to specific kinds of rap media. A prospective study of young African American women found that heavier exposure to rap music videos at baseline was associated with greater likelihood of multiple sex partners, heavy alcohol use, and violent behavior at follow-up. A separate literature review on Misogynistic rap found links between such content and increased acceptance of rape supportive attitudes and sexually aggressive intentions among male listeners. These studies did not prove that rap causes violence or misogyny in a simple sense, but they do show how that repeated exposure to certain lyrical and visual scripts can contribute to shifts in norms, expectations, and behaviors. From a structural viewpoint, the key point is not that hip hop uniquely produces these effects. Many genres traffic in sex, violence, and excess. Rather, the issue is who is consistently framed through these narratives and how those narratives interact with existing systems of racial criminalization. When black and brown youth cultures are disproportionately represented via violent and hypersexual imagery, while other groups enjoy more varied portrayals, the stage is set for punitive public policy and discriminatory policing. 5E. Surveillance, criminalization, and the prison-music feedback loop. As mainstream rap increasingly featured violence and criminality, sometimes as documentary realism, sometimes as performative spectacle, law enforcement and political actors began to treat the genre as both symptom and evidence of social disorder. This dynamic produced what might be called prison music feedback loop. First, law enforcement agencies monitored and sometimes intervened in hip-hop. The FBI's 1989 letter to Priority Records about NWA's Fuck the Police is a widely cited example. A senior official warned the label that the song encouraged violence against officers and claimed to reflect the views of the broader law enforcement community. While the letter was framed as concern rather than a ban, it signaled that federal authorities were tracking the music and willing to exert pressure. Later reporting has documented broader FBI surveillance of rappers including Tupac Shakur, Eazy-E, and members of Wu-Tang Clan as part of an ongoing pattern of monitoring black musicians. Second, prosecutors and courts increasingly use rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials. Scholars and advocates have raised concerns that this practice collapses the distance between performance and confession, treating fictionalized or exaggerated narratives as literal admission of intent, particularly when black defendants are involved. Rap lyrics become not only reflections of life condition, but tools for securing convictions, further binding the genre to the punitive apparatus. Third, media coverage often linked rap directly to crime, creating a moral panic that justified tough-on-crime legislation. In later decades, similar debates arose around UK drill and social media, where police and prosecutors have argued that drill videos posted online can cause or escalate serious youth violence, even as critics warn about over-policing expression. In the U.S. context, gangster rap became both a convenient scapegoat and a source of sensational stories that boosted ratings and circulation. These dynamics feed back into musical production. Artists from heavily policed communities face real violence and surveillance. Those experiences, in turn, become material for further songs, which are often then marketed as authentic and used to reinforce public stereotypes. The cycle sustains itself. Structural violence produces trauma and underground economies. Those conditions are documented in rap. Selected themes are amplified and commodified. The resulting image of black criminality justifies further policing and incarceration. 6. VI, algorithmic platforms and the automation of cultural filtering. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, the center of gravity in music distribution shifted from physical media and terrestrial radio toward digital platforms. First file sharing, then legal downloads, streaming services, and social media. This transition did not eliminate gatekeeping, it reconfigured it. Yeah, as I'm running into on Facebook, I be talking to these gatekeepers and shit. Streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube use algorithmic recommendation systems to decide which tracks are promoted on curated playlists or surface to users. These systems are optimized around engagement metrics, skip rates, listening time, saves, shares, and similar behavior signals. Over time, algorithms learn which songs and styles keep users on the platform longest and adjust recommendations accordingly. Research on music recommender systems suggests that these algorithms can create structural popularity loops where already popular artists and styles receive disproportionate exposure, reinforcing their dominance and marginalizing less conventional or less aggressively promoted music. More recent work on the psychological effects of personalized recommendation warns that such systems, while seemingly empowering, may actually reduce users' sense of agency in cultural choices and foster passivity. It does. In the context of hip hop, this infrastructure has several implications. One, emotionally extreme content tends to perform well. Songs that evoke strong, effective responses, shock, anger, lust, despair, are more likely to be replayed, shared, and discussed, giving them an advantage in engagement driven ranking systems. Two, existing industrial patterns are reproduced in code. If major labels have already pushed violent or hyper consumerist rap into mainstream, algorithms trained on historical data will learn that this is what succeeds and recommend similar tracks, deepening the bias. You see, this is the whole loop that the whole loop here on YouTube. This is how every content creator on the YouTube Yarda has gotten caught up in, has become nothing more than reactionists. All they do is react. They don't put out original content like I just did. I read you a book. Like I'm not even that's what, maybe a third, little more third, maybe half of that thesis. You see, when I'm sitting here exposing what these algorithms do, you think it's going to get pushed out? If I get myself caught up in this loop, right, where it's a tit for tat back and forth, we react, they react, we react, they react. Is this not the culture of the prison genre on YouTube? Tell me I'm wrong. It's not the culture when all of these dudes, all of them, you name them, every last content creator that's in the prison genre out of California or anywhere, all of them. Did they all not come out and say it was for the greater good for the kids and everything? And then they get reduced down to, oh, it's just for entertainment and for the bag and whatever. Right? Am I right or wrong? They eventually come to terms with it. But now where are we at? They're just reactionists. It's not even entertainment. You're just waiting to see if he's going to react to what he said. That's it. So listen, the people that are still watching that, it's just likely to be, comadre shit, dog. The type of females that like to, they're always on the phone about, oh, she did this and he did that and they over there and that, them, those, it. You know what I mean? Like, it's the culture of recurrence. It's a cultural recurrence. Same song, same dance, same, you know what I mean? Like, but what is the substantive value at the end of the day? What do we lend to it? What do we give to it? Nothing. Are you really sitting there wasting your time to see what and who the person is going to respond to next? I do. What your name is?
Chloe.
Chloe, come here, Chloe.
Look how they ran up on the man.
No, she good.
Come on here, Baba.
I I lost my place on this. Yeah, I gotta go study all this. Legal and policy analysis. Oh man, I got work to do, bro. I got books to write and shit, dog. I got lessons to teach, man. I got, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I ain't got time to be watching no videos and just analyzing what this motherfucker's talking about, dog. The reaction is now, man. Me, it's been 50 plus minutes. Sun is set. Another day. It's Thursday. It's done. Tomorrow's Friday. And it's the 6th day for me of the week. And I'll come out and we'll get our grind on and our workout, and then we'll do the Sabbath sunset tomorrow. Come out here. We'll have some scriptures. You want what do you want? You want the Torah? You want the Tanakh? You want the Talmud? You want the Gospels? You want the epistles? You want Revelation? You want the Quran? What do you want? What do you want? What do you guys want to get into tomorrow? Tomorrow's sunset, we're gonna get into the Sabbath reading. We're gonna get some blessings, man. We're gonna get into the blessings. We're gonna look at what God said thou shalt do. We be doing too much of what God said thou shalt not do. I'm just going to look at what he said do and never mind what I'm not supposed to be and just kind of focus on what I'm supposed to do. Because eventually I'm just going to be doing all the good shit and getting all the blessings. He's going to be like, yeah, you doing it now, boy. You doing it now, boy. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, I've been out in March, it'll be 8 years. I've been out over 7 years, man, and I've struggled. Every day, it's always gonna be a struggle for me. You know, my perspectives of this world, my view of this world is it's over. It's done. I'm ready to be done with this shit already. I'm so bored with this shit. Like, I'm dead ass, dude. Like, that's why for me, my prayer, my hope, my heart, my faith is for a wife, a daughter, for the opportunity. Like, I'm sitting here like on a playground, like that's what I'm looking forward to in life. To continue to repeat the same cycle over. I don't get it. I I don't understand how somebody like you want to sit there and talk about prison so long. Matt Owen. I have my own channel. Shout out to Matt Owen. What do you got? What's your channel about? What do you do? Let the audience know what your channel's about. Get you some free promo. You're at 195. What's your channel about though? What do you do? What kind of content do you put out? What kind of content do you make? Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you at of? Like, I'm at Los Olivos Park. Exactly. This is my location. I'm at Los Olivos Park in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Smyrna Beach, Florida. Oh, okay. Smyrna Beach. Where is that? Where? I've been like trying to understand Florida, because like Florida's a unique state because they got a Gulf Coast and then they got the Atlantic Coast. You know what I mean? And then like Like Florida, like Florida's did. Like you got to understand Florida, man. Like Florida's different because like people from Miami, they from Miami. Like people from Tampa. Like they're real territorial. People don't understand that. By Daytona Beach, okay. That's why. Hey man, Daytona Beach. I've never been. I've always wanted to. You know what I mean? Like Daytona Beach is something I've always wanted to do. Shit, I've always wanted to do the Daytona 500. Hell yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to visit like my brother Greyhound, his wife Naomi. She loves Florida. She vacations there in Florida every year. It's like they was there. There was hurricane. She just got out that hurricane. They just made it out that hurricane. That his channel is about exploring Florida scenery. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll check it out. Hey, what kind of scenery is there over there in Florida? Like, well, where specifically are you showing that? Beach? Because that's what I say about it. Like, it could be, you know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you some shit, bro. Some shit that I be watching. I be getting into is like, in the swamps, bro. And the motherfuckers in the swamps. The motherfuckers that be cooking up the motherfucking mud bugs and shit, dog. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just cool, dog. I see that's the thing for me, man. I'm not into all that dumb shit, bro. I don't sit there and watch shit like that, dog. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, why waste my time? Like that's the thing. I could watch Matt Owen. I could sit there and watch something like that, dog, and learn something, dude. Like, you know what I mean? If nothing else, just to watch something that's a change of scenery, dude. You know what I mean? Like. Freddie T, is Bigfoot real? Is he? I ain't never seen him, homie. I got a homie named Bigfoot, though. I got a homie named Bigfoot. I know a couple Bigfoot. I ain't, you know what I mean? Like, it depends. I got a real homie named Bigfoot. I know some real Bigfoot, but what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You want to get back into this thesis or what? Or do you want me to ask that question to ChatGPT? Is Bigfoot real? Hey, that really be interesting to you? Is Bigfoot real? Hey, you really interested in this Bigfoot real? Huh? You need to get 200 for your birthday? I'll go subscribe. I'll go subscribe when I'm done. If I can remember, I'll tell you, I'll forget shit. I'll tell you what you do, though. You help me remember. Go in the comments. Get out the chat. Go in the comments, and just say anything, and that way I'll remember. Because otherwise, I tell you, man, bro, I get once I'm done right here, and I'm just about done. Because I got shorts on and and it's dark. It's dark, it's a park, you know what I mean? And it gets crazy, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be careful out here, bro. It's really, you know what I mean? You got to be on the swivel out here. On your smoky. You got to be on your J-Cat. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on your J-Cat. You got to be on your smoky. These fools have the audacity to call people J-Cats while in the same breath they'll say they were on a swivel. That's some J-Cat shit to me, motherfucker. That's how you live? Hey, bro, if I see a motherfucker, he's sitting on the park bench, he's doing this shit on a swivel, yeah, bro, come on, man. You living on a swivel, but you calling other people J-Cats? I get it, I understand. Sometimes. Sometimes I get it, dog. Sometimes I don't. I really don't. Sometimes I really just don't give a fuck. I need to quit cussing. You right, though. I'm at this park, dog. My voice carries. I know it does. If these kids' voice carries in the way that it does, and I can hear them, dude, I know my shit carries. But I do that shit on purpose. I'm at a park. I'm trying to be heard. I'm preaching. Preach. I'm trying to get you. Like, hold on. Let me go. I got other shit. That ain't even. That ain't even. Let me show you, bro. Like, you. Which one you want to get into? You want to get into pharmaceuticals and warfare? Let's get into pharmaceuticals and warfare. How about that? Pharmaceuticals and warfare? Oh my! You want to talk about pharmaceuticals and warfare? Or you guys want to talk about the neighborhood, dog? Would you guys want to talk? You guys want me to tell you a story when I was in prison, dog? You want to tell me? You want me to tell you some violent story? Somebody got killed in prison and he got thrown off the fucking tier. A bunch of dudes stabbed him and they threw him off the tier and shit, bro. You want me to tell you that story or what? Eee. See, this is just an analysis of a thesis, though. You know what I mean? The Nigerian nightmare, bro. I survived that. Stop lying to these people. You survived what? Lying about what? Here's this troll again. What do you... This fool don't even know what he's talking about. Who are you? Hey, look. Hey, what's your real name? You survived what? Listen, you just chimed in about nothing. What are you talking about now? J Cat, what are you talking about? You survived what? Like, okay, what did you survive? The park? Swivelhead? You listen, you must be one of those dudes, dog. All of a sudden. Who is that? Gunners? That's gotta be Gunners, huh? Bro, stop lying. These little girls. Hey, come over here though. I don't even want you on my channel. Listen, we're not even gonna do your trolling today. Get out of here. Goofy. That little goofy. Can you make a... No, I can't make you no moderator. You coming on there asking for moderate, bro. Chill, relax. You gotta stick around. You gotta stick around for a while. Let me see if my subs went up. You know what I'm saying? Now let me. This one right here. Let me go get it. Let's go get into right here, bro. COINTEL Pro MK Ultra. You want to get into that? Look, man. Look, man. I'm gonna show you something, bro. I got mathematical formulas for my fucking thesis, dude. I have mathematical formulas. I got mathematical formulas to prove what I say is true. Man, you really think I'm gonna have a... Come on, listen. What one of these dudes, these little YouTubers, is gonna sit here and have a conversation with me about any of this shit? They can hardly have a conversation in depth about the goddamn prison experience that they have had. But this shit is just... I don't need... Listen, bro. We're talking the DSM-5. We're talking about the development of the DSM. Nah, we can't. I gotta end this live, bro. I'm gonna end this live, bro. That we're gonna say that for another time. But that's what we're gonna start doing on these evening live, these sunset lives. We're gonna come out here and we're gonna educate. We'll have a roastathon during the walkathon. You know what I mean? I got you in the daytime for some exercise. You wanna get motivated and stimulated to get up and get you some exercise. You know what I mean? To do something to better your health and mental health, and you know what I mean? I got you at noontime. Just tap in, you know what I mean? Get you some motivation, get you a little grit, a little grind to get you going, you know what I mean, in your gears, man, you know? And then we're gonna come out at the PM. We're gonna come out here at the sunset and we're gonna set sail on some wisdom, some knowledge, and some understanding. We're gonna all learn together. How about that? Are you guys learn together? Are you guys down for that? You down for OPP? I'm gonna complete my dissertation right here. I'm gonna complete my dissertation right here. This is funny, dog. Like, it's so funny because, like, it proves what the Bible says be true, that God would use the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. You know what I mean? Like, is it not so foolish, someone like myself, dog, sitting there? And it's usually that way. It's usually that motherfucker at the park bench playing fucking chess. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's always that motherfucker. Albert Einstein. Look at Albert Einstein. What did Albert Einstein do in his life? He wasn't no fucking goddamn... You think about this. Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein came up with a theory. It was a theory in his lifetime, but it's no longer a theory. It's relativity. E equals mc squared is relativity. There was a time in my lifetime when it was the theory of relativity because it hadn't been proved. They tried to capture it, but they finally did. One day they finally were able to get the shot. And they proved the theory of relativity. That light arcs around the curvature of the earth or any planet. So it goes like this around it, which means that the planets sit in. They're inset. Now, how did Albert Einstein, this motherfucker, think of this shit? Sometimes we gotta think out of the box, man. Sometimes we gotta get out of these prison cells, and we gotta stop. We gotta think beyond all that, dude. You gotta start seeking solutions and stop talking about these problems, dude. These dudes don't do nothing but promote these problems. They keep doing it, man.